To make our Ferrari 458 sound like an old school F1 car with this Novitec exhaust, Sam's going to get straight into this one.
Chase you out, please. That'll make you happy. That'll make it. If that'll make it. If that'll make it. If that'll make you happy.
So as you've seen, Sam's already been working on the car, which in itself is a big deal because this is our first development Ferrari, which is quite cool to say. And we've got this car in so we can showcase a little bit of our ability with Ferraris. And well, let's talk about the main piece here right now, which is a Novitec exhaust system. It seemed like the obvious choice when it came to exhaust with Ferraris. They're just synonymous with making Ferraris sound absolutely insane. So while we're at this midpoint, while the car's been worked on, I thought I'd just talk to you a little bit about the system itself, what it does and what makes it a little bit unique. So Novitec themselves have supposedly tuned this to be a little bit more shrill, high pitch, a little bit more like an old school F1 car that you might have heard from the early noughties and the late 90s. They were just mega, and it's nice to change this up to get it a little bit more back to sort of its original pure form in that way. So this is a stainless steel system. It's valved as well, much like the original. It's still going to retain all of its catalytic converters on the downpipes and link pipes, so there's no issues with emissions. Obviously this car doesn't have GPS or OPS because it's quite old compared to the more modern stuff we work on, but the idea is it is going to be changing the rear section and it's going to optimize the exhaust flow to sound absolutely amazing. At least that's what we're hoping, at least. So we're coupling with that with a valve kit, which is actually from Capristo themselves. And we've got a few different options with the valve opening and closing procedure, which I'm not going to bore you with it now, but there's a document on there which tells you exactly what these buttons do and how to open and close them at certain revs and startup procedures and so on. But the idea is these cars don't have valve control that you can turn the exhaust on and off by yourself. It decides when to open and close the valves, which is very smart, but sometimes you like to just drive along a little bit more chilled out UK roads and have the full volume. And it's nice to be able to do that with the valve kit or the valve control kit. So that's a nice little extra to this exhaust. So anyway, that's pretty much this system. We've got a few other bits planned with this car, including some setup work with the suspension and a few health checks and looking over the car to make sure it's where it needs to be. It's a bit longer of a project, this particular vehicle, but for the time being, let's get this on. Let's make this beauty raw. I can't wait to hear this puppy scream. So we'll see you guys shortly, and the revs will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned to that. Let's get back into this one. wrapped up on the car, and it's already, if you heard from the sound clips, this thing sounds absolutely amazing. I'm really pleased with the way that this has gone on. Okay, actually it's a little bit more involved than first thought with the particular system, and Sam did a very good job getting this one fitted up, given the fact that he's not done one of these systems before on a Ferrari. So really happy with the way it's gone on. The fitment was absolutely perfect, it really was. So well done to the guys at Novitec for making an extremely good exhaust system. Sounds good, fits really good as well, just a little bit more involved than first thought. Big shout out to the guys at Scuderia Car Parts as well, who are the Novitec UK dealer. So that's where we got the exhaust from. So big thanks to them making this one happen. This has actually been coupled with a valve controller kit as well from Capristo, which we've obviously installed to have a bit more automation over what we want to do with the exhaust valve position, so we can shut it up if we want to. That was obviously an option that you couldn't do from these cars from factory, so it's nice to have that sorted. So as a whole, really good product, very pleased, sounds amazing, and hopefully you guys agree from the sound clips that you've already heard. Quite a few bits and pieces we've got planned with this particular car. As I said, this is more about a exploration for ourselves into Ferrari, how they work, how they fit together, a bit of a sort of development mule in some respects. Pull it apart, work out what the best way of putting it back together is, and obviously upgrading it whilst we're doing that. So quite a few things going on. We've probably got, I'd say, what is the world's first documented build next part of this process, shall we say. But as a whole, really pleased with this system, and hope you guys agree it sounds top notch. So stay tuned for the next installment with this car. I'm really excited to see this one progress. It's going to be fun. But thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Cheers.